There's a certain sweetness that, instead of healing, traps you. A kindness that, instead of strengthening, drains you. What if what you believe to be your greatest virtue was, in reality, the mask of fear preventing your true spiritual awakening? Do you feel exhausted, even when you're trying to be nice all the time? Tired of feeling like your authentic kindness is mistaken for submission? The desire to never displease can be a constant invitation to spiritual self-sabotage, pushing you into a silent internal battle. In this video, we're going to uncover why the incessant need to please prevents your freedom to be. Get ready for a journey of awakening clarity, where the courage to be who you truly are becomes your greatest strength. We're going to dive into a profound paradox that affects many of us, the sweetness that makes us sick. Yes, that excessive kindness, the desire to always be good and agreeable, which paradoxically consumes us and pushes us away from our own essence. On the path of personal development and the awakening of consciousness, we're taught about the importance of compassion, empathy, and goodness. And these are invaluable virtues. But what happens when this goodness becomes an invisible armor, an escape from the fear of being rejected, misunderstood, or worse, of confronting ourselves? This isn't a journey to discredit the virtue of kindness, but to discern its source. It's about the spiritual truth behind the mask, about finding the steadfast presence that allows us to be loving and compassionate without canceling ourselves out. Throughout this script, you'll discover how the exhaustion of trying to be perfect for others silences your own soul, and how ancient wisdom points us towards a path of radical authenticity. It's time to ask, what's the price of being too sweet? Imagine yourself as a river. Your nature is to flow freely, adapt, and follow your course. But what if, out of a desire to be agreeable to all the banks, you tried to hold back, to mold yourself to every stone, every expectation? This is how the illusion of excessive goodness operates. In the universe of spirituality, we often confuse being good with always being compliant. But this kindness that knows no bounds isn't a virtue. It's exhaustion in disguise. It robs you of your vital energy, silences you, and prevents you from expressing your deepest spiritual truth. It's a subtle trap, one of the most painful on the path of self-knowledge, because it comes dressed as something society values. Here lies the great paradox. Our innate desire for connection and acceptance can lead us to a form of spiritual self-sabotage. The fear of displeasing, of being misunderstood, of losing others' affection, leads us to build a persona so malleable that we become invisible to ourselves. It's like trying to be a flower that pleases everyone, changing color and fragrance every moment until you forget your own essence. This constant policing of your actions, words, and even thoughts, so they are never a cause for disapproval, is an energetic block that prevents your true awakening of consciousness. You are denying yourself the right to flourish fully. What few people realize is that the constant avoidance of external conflicts feeds a silent war within you. Every yes you say when you wanted to say no is a small battle lost against yourself. Every forced smile, every concession that hurts your soul, accumulates resentment and frustration. This emotional healing only begins when you recognize that this external sweetness creates an internal battlefield, where your self-confidence is undermined and your inner peace is constantly threatened. The energy you spend trying to maintain this facade is the same energy that could be used to build an authentic and fulfilling life. This gentle exhaustion leads to an insidious feeling that something is wrong with you. Why can't I be like others? Am I behind on my spiritual journey? Do I feel unworthy of having my own needs? This weight is the guilt that arises when you erase yourself, when you prioritize the image others have of you above your own truth and well-being. Inner transformation requires you to recognize that your authenticity isn't selfishness, but rather a sacred act of presence. Living with guilt is the antithesis of the awakening of consciousness, as it keeps you trapped in a cycle of self-denial. Look inward. How many times has your kindness been a refuge for fear? The fear of being judged, rejected, or seen as bad or selfish. This sweetness can be a mask, an escape from the vulnerability of showing up as you truly are, with your imperfections and your limits. Recognizing this mask is the first step towards freedom to be. It's an invitation to inner silence, to listen to the voice of your soul that longs to express itself without filters. This honesty with yourself is the starting point for reconnecting with your highest purpose. If we seek true wisdom, we need to look at examples that transcend superficiality. Buddha, for example, wasn't nice in the conventional sense. He was lucid. We know stories where he confronted kings with the truth about injustice, masters with the limitations of their teachings, and, above all, confronted his own ignorance and deepest fears under the Bodhi tree. His quest wasn't for approval, but for the ultimate truth. This is an invitation to question what spiritual truth really means and how avoiding confrontation, sometimes necessary, can keep us in the dark. Many of us live under the illusion that avoiding all conflict is the path to peace. However, this peace, built on constant concessions, is fragile and illusory. It's an external peace that hides an internal storm. True inner peace isn't the absence of challenges, but the ability to face them with steadfast presence and an ethical stance. It's the courage to defend your integrity, to set personal boundaries with love and clarity, even if it creates temporary discomfort in the environment. This firmness is an act of awakening consciousness, a sign that you are honoring your soul. The main tool for dissolving the internal noise that excessive sweetness creates is the courage to embrace your own truth and communicate your boundaries. At first, this can cause discomfort. People who were used to your compliance might react. But this is a sign that you are growing, freeing yourself from invisible chains. Use soul listening to identify where you've been silencing yourself. The practice of presence and self-observation allows you to perceive what is truly yours and what is someone else's expectation. It's a fundamental step for your inner transformation. There's immense power in non-conformity, not as empty rebellion, but as the genuine expression of your authenticity. When you stop molding yourself to others' expectations, an immense emotional burden is released. Imagine the relief of no longer needing to please everyone, of not carrying the burden of being the perfectly nice person. This freedom to be allows your relationships to become more true and profound, based on mutual respect, not compliance. It's the wisdom of knowing that being yourself is the greatest gift you can offer. Every interaction, including those that lead us to confront or be confronted, acts as a mirror. They show us where we still cling to approval, where our ego still feels threatened. The awakening of consciousness happens not just in silent meditation, but in the dynamics of real life. Instead of running away, view these moments as invitations to deepen your self-knowledge, to strengthen your presence, and to mature. It is in this process of interaction that practical spirituality manifests in its fullness, revealing spiritual truth in every exchange. And for this practical spirituality to be truly authentic and full, as we saw in Buddha's lucidity and in the interactions that mirror us, we first need to break the cycle of exhaustion. The path to authentic kindness that nourishes, instead of draining your vital energy, begins with deep self-respect. The cycle of exhaustion from excessive kindness only breaks when we understand that true kindness begins with ourselves. It's not an inexhaustible source of giving, but an energy that flows naturally from a full being who respects themselves. It's like a spring that gushes clean water. If the spring is dirty or empty, there's no water to offer. Nurturing yourself, respecting your personal boundaries, is an act of deep spirituality. This isn't selfishness, but the foundation for you to genuinely contribute and love without burning out. The key lies in the balance of presence. It's possible to be deeply compassionate and welcoming without being permissive, without allowing others to invade your space or drain your energy. This requires conscious presence, a vigilance over your own needs, and clear communication of your boundaries. It's not about building walls, but about building strong bridges, where the flow of energy is mutual and respectful. Wisdom resides in discerning what is love and what is fear disguised as help or sweetness. When you start to detach from the burden of duty imposed by false kindness, you feel a rebirth of your energy. It's like letting go of a heavy backpack you've carried for years. This liberation allows you to enter a new flow, one where lightness and purpose guide your actions, not obligation or fear. Reprogramming the mind to break free from this pattern of having to be nice opens space for a more authentic life aligned with your true soul. In inner silence resides a deep wisdom. It's in the quietude that you can hear the voice of your intuition, the voice of your soul, which will tell you where your limits are, where you need to preserve yourself, and where your strength lies. Meditation isn't just about calming the mind. It's about reconnecting with this inner source of truth and power. It is in this space of contemplation that true emotional healing and inner transformation begin. To seal this transformation, practice radical self-compassion. Start with small actions. Set aside time for yourself, listen to your own needs, and practice saying no gently but firmly, without guilt. The phrase, "With all due respect and love, I won't be able to," can be a powerful mantra. Remember that saying no to something that drains you is saying yes to yourself and to your presence. This is an act of wisdom that reverberates in all your relationships. By embracing authenticity, you initiate a powerful break from limiting patterns. The sweetness that makes you sick is one of these patterns. By allowing yourself to be real, with your vulnerabilities and your strengths, you untie the energetic knots that spiritual self-sabotage created. It's like waking up from a self-imposed spell where you denied yourself the right to shine. This process of awakening consciousness frees a current of energy that was once trapped in the attempt to please, and now flows freely towards your manifestation. With the energy liberated by authenticity, you access the true power of conscious manifestation. Your vibrational frequency rises as you are aligned with the spiritual truth of your soul. The law of attraction operates more powerfully when your intentions come from a place of integrity, not from a desire for external validation. You begin to create the reality that resonates with who you truly are, not with what others expect you to be. Our body is a wise messenger. It gives us clear signs when we are repressing our authenticity. Tension headaches, a knot in the throat, digestive problems, persistent anxiety, irritability. These are the echoes of internal conflict. Paying attention to these signs is an act of self-knowledge and soul listening. By identifying these alerts, meditation and conscious presence can help you uncover the root of the problem and release this stagnant energy, allowing emotional healing to occur. Clarity about your life's purpose often reveals itself the moment you free yourself from the need to please. When your energy is no longer dispersed trying to fit into every box, it concentrates on your true mission. It's like the mist dissipating, revealing the landscape ahead. Spiritual awakening is intrinsically linked to discovering and living your purpose, and this requires courage to follow a path that may not be expected by everyone. The courage to displease is, paradoxically, the door to deeper and more authentic relationships. The fear of rejection is, in its essence, an illusion created by the ego. Those who truly love and respect you will value your authenticity, even if it means you need to say no or have different opinions. The vulnerability of showing up as you are, with your limits and truths, is what builds bridges of genuine connection, not walls of conformity. This is the wisdom of a life lived with integrity. After so much seriousness and weight, it's time to introduce cosmic humor. Life, with all its ironies and paradoxes, is a grand play where the rigidity of forced sweetness can be dissolved by the lightness of self-observation. Start to look at your own neuroses at the times you bent over backward to please, with a gentle smile, not with judgment, but with the amusing perception of human comedy. This shift in perspective is a powerful catalyst for the awakening of consciousness, allowing you to observe yourself without attachment. In many ancestral traditions, there is the figure of the sacred clown or the trickster, one who breaks patterns, who questions the seriousness of life, who reveals truth through laughter and apparent madness. This archetype invites us to unravel the playful nature of reality. Why do we take everything so seriously? The obsession with control and planning often prevents us from seeing the intrinsic beauty and irony of existence. Embracing this wisdom is an invitation to freedom to be. Genuine laughter, the kind that comes from the depths of the soul, is a portal of transcendence. A released guffaw can dissolve the boundaries of the ego, which strives so hard to maintain the facade of perfect goodness. When you laugh at your own imperfections, at your clumsy attempts to be what you're not, you connect to a greater truth, to a universal presence where guilt has no place. This is practical spirituality, revealing that joy is an integral part of the path of self-knowledge. True, authentic kindness isn't an obligation, but a natural emanation from the recognition of the interconnectedness of all beings. It's when you understand that we are all part of the same web of life, that the suffering of another echoes within you, that compassion arises effortlessly, without the need for masks. This is the spiritual truth, a love that transcends the need for approval and acts on its own, rooted in the wisdom of unity. Just as the river of consciousness flows, life is in constant motion. Impermanence is the only constant. Embracing this transience with a gentle firmness, without clinging to form or expectations, is the culmination of our awakening. Your presence becomes unshakable, not because you are rigid, but because you are aligned with the fluidity of existence. The sweetness that sickens transforms into the sweetness that liberates, because it is born from a place of strength and authenticity, inviting you to live fully, with purpose and inner peace. Today, we've unveiled the sweetness that sickens and the lucidity that liberates. We've seen how the incessant quest to please, to be nice, can be a subtle trap of spiritual self-sabotage, draining your energy and hindering your awakening of consciousness. Remember, true authentic kindness is born from a place of wholeness and presence, not from neediness or fear. It is an act of wisdom, which manifests when you recognize and respect your personal boundaries. Buddha, with his lucidity, showed us that necessary confrontation is part of the path to spiritual truth and freedom to be. By embracing your authenticity, by allowing yourself to displease when necessary, you not only find inner peace, but also the clarity to manifest your life's purpose. And, above all, cultivate cosmic humor. Laugh at life's ironies, at your own attempts at perfection. Laughter is a portal to transcendence, a way to dissolve the ego and connect with the interconnectedness of all beings. May you, from now on, discern between the sweetness that traps and the kindness that liberates. May your inner journey be marked by the courage to be who you truly are, in your divine essence. This is the invitation to your inner transformation. If these words resonated with something inside you, perhaps it's time to take another step on this path of reconnecting with your inner truth. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to continue receiving content that nourishes the soul with presence and authenticity. Share in the comments what resonated with your heart. Your story might be the mirror someone needed to find. And, if you wish to continue in this vibration, watch the video we've linked below. It was lovingly chosen to continue this journey with you. What's holding you back from achieving full consciousness? Peace and light.